So the film begins at midnight. Everyone in the house is asleep except Cecilia. She lies awake in bed. On the other side of her is her husband, Adrian. He's a famous and extremely wealthy optical engineer. From the outside, Cecilia's life looks perfect, but deep down, she's been living in hell. Adrian is cruel. He's controlling. He monitors every part of her life. He torments her mentally and emotionally. Cecilia wants freedom, but she knows Adrian will never let her go. So she makes a decision. She's going to escape. She already has a plan. Before running away, Cecilia secretly drugs Adrian, making sure he falls into a deep sleep. She waits, watching him carefully. Once she's certain the drug has worked, she moves quickly. She packs her belongings and prepares to leave. She disables every security camera in the house, except one, the camera in her bedroom. She keeps it active so she can monitor Adrian on her phone. She changes her clothes and heads toward the exit. But then, she sees their dog in the garage. She can't leave the innocent animal behind with that cruel man, so she decides to free him. But while removing the collar, she accidentally triggers the car alarm. Terrified, Cecilia panics and runs into the nearby woods. At the same time, Adrian wakes up. She's seconds away from being caught when suddenly, her sister Emily arrives. Emily helps her escape. As Cecilia jumps into the car, she drops the bottle of sedatives in the woods. Adrian appears just moments later, trying to stop them. But Emily drives off at full speed, leaving Adrian behind. Cecilia believes she's finally free, but she has no idea her freedom is about to become her biggest nightmare. 2 weeks later, Cecilia is living with Emily's close friend James and his teenage daughter, Sydney. Even after 2 weeks, Cecilia is still terrified. She's convinced Adrian will come for her. Because of this, she's afraid to leave the house. She constantly feels like someone is watching her. That feeling never goes away. It only grows stronger. One day, Emily comes to visit with shocking news. She tells Cecilia that Adrian is dead. Cecilia is speechless. She doesn't know how to react. She immediately goes to the bathroom, trying to process what she just heard. It doesn't make sense. A man like Adrian, someone who controlled everything, his wife, his work, his life, would never kill himself. Adrian controlled what she ate, what she wore, what she said, and where she went. Knowing him, he would never do this. Cecilia shares her doubts with Emily, but Emily insists the news is real. Adrian is dead. Cecilia is safe. She can finally leave the house. After struggling with fear, Cecilia builds up the courage to step outside and check the mailbox. Inside, she finds a letter from Adrian's lawyer, his brother Tom. As she reads it, she learns that Adrian left her $5 million. Relieved, Cecilia decides to start fresh. The first thing she does is buy gifts for James and Sydney, who allowed her to stay in their home. She's grown attached to Sydney, treating her like a daughter. When she learns Sydney wants to attend fashion school, Cecilia pays her tuition. She expects to be happy, but instead, her fear returns. The feeling of being watched grows stronger. One day, a knife suddenly falls off the kitchen counter. Moments later, the stove turns on by itself and starts a fire. That night, whenever Cecilia tries to sleep, she feels someone watching her. The door opens, but no one is there. Thinking it's just her imagination, she forces herself to sleep. Later, she wakes up and hears breathing nearby. Cecilia is too terrified to move. Suddenly, someone pulls the bedsheet and starts taking photos. Cecilia sits up in panic. No one is there, but she knows someone is watching her. She feels him sitting in the chair nearby, but can't understand how he's invisible. Terrified, Cecilia calls James. He searches the house, but finds nothing. Believing Cecilia is still traumatized by Adrian, James tells her to rest. Cecilia says nothing. The next day, at a job interview, Cecilia opens her portfolio. Something is wrong. The folder is completely empty. Shocked, she collapses and faints. She wakes up hours later in the hospital and is sent home. The following day, the doctor calls with disturbing news. They found a high concentration of drugs in her blood. It's the same sedative she used to drug Adrian. Then something even worse happens. The medicine bottle she dropped in the woods is now sitting on her side table. Cecilia realizes the truth. The person watching her is Adrian. Convinced he's alive, she meets with Tom and James and tells them everything. She believes Adrian created something that allows him to disappear. As an optical engineer, he made himself invisible just to torture her. Tom listens and responds calmly. He says he understands her pain. Adrian abused him too, but he insists Adrian is dead. He even shows death photos as proof. Cecilia is confused. Tom tells her she's still traumatized. Distraught, Cecilia goes to Emily, believing she'll understand. Instead, Emily is furious. She reveals that she received an abusive email from Cecilia, threatening to kill her. Cecilia denies it. She tries to explain that an invisible man is harassing her and sent the email. But Emily doesn't believe her. When Cecilia checks her email, she finds a message. The content is horrifying. She breaks down in tears. Because of Adrian, she's lost another person she loves. Sydney tries to comfort her. But suddenly, the invisible man attacks Sydney. Sydney doesn't see who hit her, so she believes Cecilia did it. James arrives, sees his daughter injured, and assumes Cecilia is responsible. He yells at her and leaves with Sydney. Cecilia chases after them, screaming that it was the invisible man. But no one listens. She collapses in tears. Enough is enough. Cecilia decides to confront him. She grabs a knife for protection and spreads powder on the floor to track his footsteps. But the invisible man cleans it up. The plan fails. Next, she calls Adrian's phone. It rings from the attic. Terrified but determined, Cecilia climbs upstairs. She finds Adrian's phone and photos of herself. He's been watching her the entire time. She also finds weapons and house blueprints. Suddenly, she senses someone behind her. In the kitchen, the invisible man grabs her by the neck. Cecilia screams as he strangles her. He throws her onto the table and drags her across the floor. With everything she has, Cecilia escapes and runs outside. She flags down a taxi and goes straight to Adrian's house. Inside his lab, she discovers the invisible suit. Before she can leave, she hears someone enter. She hides the suit and hides herself. The invisible man finds her and attacks again. Cecilia barely escapes. She arranges to meet Emily, desperate to prove the truth. Emily hesitates but agrees. Before Cecilia can show the suit, the invisible man slashes Emily's throat and places the knife in Cecilia's hand. Witnesses see it. The police arrive. Cecilia is arrested. She tells them the invisible man did it, but no one believes her. She's declared unstable and sent to a psychiatric hospital. She keeps screaming that Adrian is alive. The nurses sedate her. Before losing consciousness, Adrien whisper, surprise. James, who is a police officer, interrogates her later. Cecilia tells him she has proof Adrian is alive, but she doesn't reveal it, knowing he's watching. Then she receives more devastating news. She's pregnant. Tom visits and tells her she won't receive the inheritance. But he offers a deal. If she keeps the baby and returns to Adrian, the charges will disappear. Cecilia realizes Tom is working with Adrian. She refuses. That night, she damages the invisible suit with a pen. Police arrive as Adrian attacks them. Cecilia chases him, firing shots. Only she can see him now. The chase leads to James's house. Sydney sprays him with pepper spray. Cecilia reveals him and shoots. They remove the mask. It's Tom. Police find Adrian tied up in a basement, claiming Tom kidnapped him. Cecilia knows the truth. Adrian and Tom planned everything together. Determined to end it, Cecilia meets Adrian one last time. He apologizes and asks her to return. She agrees on one condition. He must admit he was the invisible man. Believing he's won, Adrian whispers, surprise. Cecilia goes to the bathroom. Moments later, Adrian slits his own throat. CCTV footage shows it as suicide, but the truth is darker. Cecilia wore the invisible suit and killed him. She leaves with the suit, destroying the evidence. James sees her go and understands what she did, but he lets her walk away. Cecilia didn't kill a good man. She took her revenge. She is finally free. The film ends here.